Hello everyone, and welcome to our space for chatting about how we're giving the future of energy a boost. Today we're going to dive into something that sounds a bit crazy, but is super real and promising: floating solar farms. Yes, solar panels that are on the water like they're energy islands. In this constant search for cool solutions for climate change and to have all the energy we need without harming the planet so much, this idea appears and represents a great advantage. It's about using the surface of existing bodies of water, like reservoirs, lakes, or canals, to put the solar panels there. It's a really ingenious way to use space, right? Instead of occupying a lot of land, which is increasingly valuable, especially near cities or where it's needed for cultivation, we send the panels to the water. This frees up that land for other important things without fighting over space. The basic operation is the same as any solar installation we see on land. We capture energy from the sun and convert it into clean electricity. But the fact that they're on water adds a lot of extra points that make them a super interesting alternative, with a very positive impact for the environment and for people. One of the strongest things in favor of these floating farms is precisely that they take advantage of surfaces that otherwise wouldn't be used to generate energy. In a world where land space is a scarce resource, especially near where people live or in agricultural areas, putting panels on the water frees up that much-needed land, avoiding that competition for soil. And get this, in addition to using space better, the water underneath the panels helps them produce more energy. The water acts as a natural coolant, keeping the panels at a lower temperature than if they were on hot land. And when the panels are cooler, they work better. That means they generate more electricity with the same amount of sun. But not only that, they also help take care of the water. By covering a part of the surface of reservoirs or lakes, these platforms with panels greatly reduce the direct exposure of the water to the sun and wind. And what does that mean? That much less water evaporates. This is key, especially in places where water is scarce or where there are frequent droughts. In a time of climate change where we don't know exactly what will happen with fresh water, this ability to save it is priceless. The potential of these floating solar farms to add energy to the grid is huge. There are studies that say that if we install them in the bodies of water we already have, we could generate enough energy to supply millions of homes. It's a large-scale source of clean energy. Additionally, since they are often in reservoirs that already have hydroelectric plants, hybrid systems can be set up that are super efficient and more resilient. Combining floating solar energy with hydroelectric power gives you a more stable and reliable energy source. If the water level is low and not much hydroelectric energy can be generated, solar comes to the rescue, and vice versa. This strategic combination makes the energy supply more secure and better able to withstand shocks. At the end of the day, expanding floating solar farms is a very concrete and positive step in the fight against climate change. By generating electricity that comes 100% from a renewable source, we directly reduce how much we depend on fossil fuels and lower emissions of gases that heat up the planet. This technology not only uses water and space intelligently, but also pushes us towards a cleaner and more sustainable energy future. The energy that comes from these floating solar farms replaces the need to use energy sources that come from burning fossil fuels, like coal, oil, or gas, which are the main culprits of CO2 emissions and other greenhouse gases. Every kilowatt-hour that these clean installations produce is 1 kilowatt-hour less that is generated in polluting plants. This helps a lot to improve air quality and slow down the effects of climate change. By incorporating these farms into electrical grids, we accelerate the shift towards a greener energy matrix, helping countries and regions meet their goals to reduce emissions and move towards a future with zero net emissions. It's a clear example of how energy infrastructure can change to be sustainable, offering a solution that can be scaled for a problem that affects everyone. Floating solar farms are a perfect example of how innovation and pushing forward can turn problems into opportunities, offering concrete and hopeful solutions to build a more sustainable and resilient future. Well, that's all for this very interesting topic of floating solar farms. It's a technology that shows us that there are new and clean ways to generate the energy we need. What did you think? Did you already know about this technology? Do you think it's a good option for our country? We'd love to know what you think, so we invite you to leave your comments and join the debate on our social media. We'll hear from you next time.